Alrighty. Oh, has there been no music? Oh. My headphones. Oh, here we go. Ah. There we go. Okay. Ooh, that's far away. I need to find a better setup for my microphone. This feels a little far away. Also, not properties filters. There we go. Does this have a compressor? Or not a compressor, a noise. It does have noise suppression. There we go. That should help a bunch. Okay. Because I wanted to noise suppress. Actually, hold on. Let's blow. So we want the suppressor first. We want the suppressor after the gate. There we go. That's much better. And then we EQ it, and then we put a little bit of post gain. Maybe slightly more, just a little bit of post gain. Compress it. There we go. A little bit of post gain. There we go. Much better. Should make it a whole lot better. Can I listen to this? It's audio properties. Can I just hear it this way? There we go. Okay. Check. Oh, it sounds like it's echoing.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful. Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle function.
Yeah, can I? How do I? Okay, I sound okay. Sounds. It sounds like it's echoing slightly. Is it? Check. Yeah, it is. Why is it echoing? I thought I fixed this. Get rid of the noise gate. No. Get rid of the post gain. Okay. Compression. Yeah. EQ, noise suppression. Okay, if I get rid of all this, just get rid of all of it. How does it sound? Yeah. Okay. Bring it all back. And how are we doing? Okay. The test. Maybe it's my headphones. That's weird. Chinatown ducking. No, don't need that. Is there limiter, invert polarity, expand, compress? I don't think we need to add an expander. Should be fine. Yeah. Okay. We'll just leave it like that then. Okay. All right, there we go. Perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. Now back to what we're actually here to do, which is we're going to develop Stolmethus. So, new folder. Stolmethus. I need to move this microphone into a better spot. I don't know what this better spot is going to be. It needs to be in a better spot. Maybe something more like this. Problems like pop filter doesn't cooperate if I do that. All right. I think that's a little bit better. All right, and then I need new notes, which will be underscore. I think there's 2 drop spaces, but they're in different folders. Yeah. Okay. Bring that down a little bit so I can see a bit better. So, in the archipelago, we need the following. We need Solus, and I also serve Matharin, Mount Genesis. I put Draconia in there. I can start the multiverse with that. I suppose Solent different. We're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna keep it as Solon without the thing. Okay. Okay, so here's what we have for this so far. Draconia is actually a extra planar. So we're gonna add a folder called it extra planar. And we're gonna shove that inside the Fractured Shores. Actually, no. It is setting stuff, but it's technically... I'll put it in there for now. Regardless. It's not something that I need to concern myself with too much right now. Oh. I should do this, shouldn't I? Alright. Let's see here. Expand all things mentioned in Dolmethus. Dolmethus. At least 3 main factions. establish its relationship to what was the one place I made so far? The Grave Barrens? To other regions. There we go. Hopefully that looks halfway decent on stream as well. I'm gonna make a cheat sheet table for this. Also, I need to make a point here that Matharin does it just open a link to another to the Imgur? I believe it does. Requested page could not be found. Let's try this one last time. See if it works. Because if not, yeah, no, page could not be found. Okay. Alright, well, that's a little annoying. Oh well, that's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Alrighty. So, we have... how did I do the drop space for this? I'm just going to copy-paste it so that I know how I did it last time. We can close this for now. Close this. Oops, nope. Close this, sorry. Close it. NPCs for the time being. Alright, and then we need... archipelagos in the games, in the short-term games, we have... Where is the one for Solmethus? Here we go. Cold Insurrection. So, and that's the other thing I wanted to do. These 3 factions, establish regions, and then... make needed things for the ad. For the adventure. There we go. Alright, so. Get rid of story dice. Okay, so Solmethus is... Let's see here. I'm going to turn down my music here on this end a little bit. That way I can turn it up for you guys just slightly. Actually, I'll turn it down just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And let's see here. Minimize that. Okay. So, Cold Insurrection. Draconia. I'm just gonna put a little note here. Home of the Chromatic and metallic. Oh, it's 2 L's. Okay, of course. Dragons. Twice the mages they had invaded the fractured shores. It should be twice. First time worldwide. Second time in the excuse me. What's it called? The region that my players are currently in the United States. Has endless war. There. That's all I need for that. Okay. So, let's make a little note here of the stuff that, let's figure out what we need here. So we got these 3 places here. So what do we need from this place? Freaking nose, man. Oh. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. The Solus and Matharan people have taken some preparing. Let's see here. Solus and Matharan people have taken to preparing themselves for inevitable war they think is coming. A number of villages are taking up arms in quiet to fend off invaders, while calling themselves the Bringers of Frost. I knew I had a third faction. Who seem to think they know the next chapter that the land holds. A number of villages have been quietly preparing themselves to fight, believe that they will make their way through soon. Whispers of the church taking up arms, and we're just gonna did I forget how I spelled my own deities? Probably. Oh, it's M-Y, you idiot. No, delete. There's a Y in. The Church of Matharan taking up arms and forcefully imposing the will of Matharan. Matharan once across the land of Solmethus. And of Solmethus. Strange people have been seen wandering the village, just speaking of great frost that is coming and will be what will determine the future of Solmethus. I took medication too. Like, I really want my nose to stop dripping. The event. Players will arrive at one of said villages being directed to local leader's house. The leader will inform them that the Bringers of Frost, as they call themselves, as well as the general ongoings of the village. Testing and finding out what the Bringers of Frost are really up to. Or what the Bringers of Frost really are, and keep tabs on the church as best they can at all times. So, I'm actually going to change this name slightly. A cold insurrection. There we go. This is actually doubling down on the same thing I set up here. Because the one that I did before, which was Black and Glass, it's fine. So, a few things that I need is I have the stuff for the church already because I have the actual Matharan deity. So prosper under the law, blah, blah, blah. This gives a good exposition onto Matharan works, which will be kind of the best on its own. We can just get rid of this. Unbroken Law, Inquisitor's Light, Lady of the Sanctified Flame. Directly is so. Okay, so Order, War, and Light. I need to expand my deities to have a fourth domain. It's a little too rigid. It's fine though. Alright, so let's see here. So we have a thing from Matharan in here already, so we're just going to keep that there for now. So we have the Bringers of Frost Mountain. So we need to make a few things. This needs to just go away. Get rid of this. Alright. So here's a few things that we need. Arrive of one of said villages. Alright, village of. And the thing is that this is important because I need to have names for things rather than just... They don't know the local leader's name, which is fine. They don't need that right now. But we're going to go to our good old friend Fantasy Name Generator. And I want to search, if it'll load. Come on, load. Latin town. You can go Roman, that would work. Southern European names. There we go. That'll work. Countries with the highest generation of the following order: Greek, Italian, Portugal, Spain. 3 times. But all the names are heavily based on the city names. It was still random and might not look always fit the real setting. As well as smaller countries depending on who depends, but France is already part of Western Europe generator. It didn't have Latin in there. I was lied to. Latin name generator in general. I guess we could go Roman. Roman's a little too specific. Names, mecha names. Could try this. These are Latin people names, so I don't really want to do those. Names have been loosely based off of real fictional continents, but I made sure that the vast amount of different surrounding names cover almost any type of language. Still random generations, some names. Thousands of different results, so there's plenty to discover. The last 4 names suffer. Most of the small 6. Okay, yeah, no. Maybe we would just have to go Roman. This is Roman names, period. I want Roman, I want, Latin, town, Roman town name generator. Just try town name generator. Maybe that'll fix it. We want good names. So this one's for specifically Rome first. What's the town one have? Town name generator. Lots of, while most are English, there's still plenty of different themes, varieties, specifically for dozens of cities. You should, I think this was like one of the first earlier ones because this is very English. Yeah, that's very English. I don't really want English. This heavily successful language covered most of the entirety of Southern Europe as part of Northern and parts of Northern Africa. It lasted from 8th century to 5th century AD. 5th century AD is probably about as close as I want it. So in terms of town names, there's a whole range of them. Some of them, like many remain, still exist today, but the same or similar names, but many others have been lost in time. Hold on. I've been using Latin, like Roman Latin, for Draconic, so that actually doesn't fit. I can't use Latin. It needs to be a different language. It's very European, though, so I should definitely focus on utilizing a European language. Do German just to make an excuse to try to have it in my game. Oh, that's stupid. I shouldn't do that. I could just go with Southern European. It includes Greece and Spain, Italy, Portugal. So it has like that Mediterranean feel to it, so they're very Mediterranean in nature. I don't really want it to be well, Mediterranean is technically accurate still. The problem is that it has overlap with the Grave Barons, which is where the Latin comes in. Or sorry, with the dynasty, sorry, which is where the Latin comes in. What if we went something a little bit more like... Northern, let's just look at Europe town generators. West Europe, East Europe. So West Europe is... What if we went Eastern Europe? What's in Eastern Europe? What kind of name generation is that going to give me? It's going to give me names mostly Balzo, Czech Republic, Hungary, Moldova, Poland, Romania, Romania! There we go. How about that? Romanian town. Eastern European town. Okay, so it's just gonna give you that. In the following order. 1, 2, 3. It is the third from the bottom. 2 names we generate per country. There are more countries in East Europe, but the name generated been a lot to do, which is available in this generation, in this generator. Okay, so 2, 4, 6. Romanian. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'll use that. I guess I could also use Hungarian names because Romanian and Hungarian names are pretty similar a lot of the time. Although Hungary is a little bit more a little bit more closely related to Russian, but not really. Actually, no. That's a bad way of phrasing it. That's a terrible way of phrasing it. Jeez. Okay. Budagala or Menglan. Mangalin? Mangalin. I'm gonna do something. Okay.
Mangalan.
Mangalan. I don't like that. Mangalan. We'll stick with that. I actually need to go to Solmethus real quick here in the regions. Oops. Because I believe the Grave Barons I put it at the bottom here, which was GM notes, naming conventions. Oh, that's right. The dynasty doesn't have has Asian influence, not Latin influence. Just dragons in general. The draconic influence of Latin is from Draconia. The 2 different dialects. Common misconception. For locations and other names. Okay, so in that case, Solmethus, so naming conventions. We're gonna put this at the very bottom. Is it 3 or is it 2? It's 2. actually should have... Do I want 2 different naming conventions? I don't think I do. I don't think I need 2 different naming conventions.
Greetings, traveler.
The Tame Tavern. Thank you very much for swinging by and sticking around. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for the follow. What kind of world are you... What kind of world building are you doing? I am developing my regions a little bit more on, like, on a slightly more macro level. And then I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to do a small amount of micro for a adventure that I have in the region. So, what we're working on is a region that I call Solmethus. It is very heavily designed around the Roman Catholic Church, or not even Roman Catholic Church, just the Catholic Church back in, I'd say something like 5th to 8th century kind of time range. So very heavily religious, very highly influential in all of Europe, things like that. So, and right now I'm just kind of deciding on like a naming convention for it. And I've decided I'm gonna use Romanian as the base language, so. That is part of the church. That's not how you spell Romanian. Jeez. Has a Romanian influence. And I should actually tap this forward. How are you doing today, by the way? Meant to ask that earlier. Hope you're doing well. It is common for outsider races to hold their tradition. Kind of chilling out while waiting for D&D Beyond to come back. Oh, is it down right now? To hold their traditional names. Just started playing about a week or so ago. Oh, like for like playing D&D for like the first time? Yeah. Maintenance for a few hours. Oh, okay. Yippers. Well, welcome to the hobby. I hope you enjoy your time playing with presumably your friends, because that is the best way to play.
Mangalan.
Yep, I'll take that. That works. I am very unfamiliar with the pronunciation of Romanian, so I'm gonna rely a little bit on Google for that. It looks like it has a very phonetic when it's written in at least in English text, it's very phonetic, which would be good. Cold Insurrection, village of Mangalan. We're gonna put that in there. Slap that in the Solmethus bucket. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Absolutely doing a short stored campaign, then a long one when all of us are available. That's a good way to do it. I personally think that people that try to lock a group of people into, like, you know, a level 1 to 15 or level 1 to 20 campaign kind of like out of the gate is not foolish, but it has a lot of problems. Especially once you become adults or become parents. It gets your schedule, your life changes every 6 months. Usually. So it's hard to get people to commit to something like that. I really like the level 1 to 5, level 1 to 7 kind of frame, where you get powerful, you can handle pretty much anything kind of crazy, and there's enough time in there for you to bring most stories to conclusions. So it's a really, really good time frame for a lot of games. Which usually that's usually somewhere in the ballpark of like 20-ish sessions, which is about half a year. For most tables. Usually I say that most tables are I would say, generally speaking, do 3 out of 4 weeks. So basically there's 1 week every month that you don't end up playing. Not always true, of course, but that's usually what I find that most tables end up doing. Okay, so let's do the drop space here real quick. That's what we're looking for, a long campaign, 1 to 7. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so like this, I think that's because I've been so used to talking to one of my buddies whom has run a grand total of, I think, 7 campaigns in the last 9 years, and all of them have gone to like, either gone to really high level, like 15 plus, or are on their way there. Like they're still going, and they're like level 7 already. And like I remember telling him, like, dude, that you are like the exception. Because most games do not go past, like, any higher than 10. Like, the vast majority, like, exorbitantly vast majority do not go past level 10. We're just dipping our toes to try and find our gloves. Yeah. No, I feel that. Okay, let's get a few baseline things figured out. So the population of Solmethus is actually pretty heavy. There are like 4 major cities, 4 or 5 major cities that the Matharan Church alone controls. This is a very large area. Let's see here. Where is my map? Here's my map. So, we're gonna shrink this down for a minute. So, the Barrens are pretty rough. The Solmethus has a lot of cities in it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a city here as well. 6. Yeah, there's 6 major cities in Solmethus. Jeez, I developed this area a lot. At least in my paper notes. Jesus. 6 major cities. There's towns everywhere. There's villages everywhere. Jeez. Okay. Well. Alright. Let's do this. So, population, I'm not sure. There are 6 cities. Approximately, there's probably something like at least 3 times as many towns. So I'll say approximately 20 towns. Villages? Oh gosh. I'm afraid to even consider that number. Although a lot of them get smashed on a regular basis because of that. So it's hard to say. But they have to keep getting reestablished. What are you playing, actually, now that I think about it? What are you playing? What are you trying your hand at for your first game? What is it? Probably something like triple. That even. Maybe not triple. If there's 3 towns for every city. Probably 3 villages for every town. We'll just say approximately 60. Population. Let's bring out the calculator. All right, 6 times 15,000. I want. All right, 6 times. Right now, barbarian. I'm thinking after that, cleric. Clerics are cool. Clerics are really cool. Honestly, I like almost all the classes in D&D. The only one that I won't ever play is a barbarian. Like, the barbarian is just... The barbarian is, in my mind, a kind of... The toolkits that barbarians have are just not interesting to me. Like, as a player. I think they're great. I think they're fantastic, and I think they're fun to play. It's just, they're just not for me. Unfortunately. It's the only class I don't play. I'll play anything else. So I can facilitate the role fine, because you can play a paladin, you can play a fighter, you can play... Hell, you can even do a tanky ranger. And be able to kind of fill the same role. I did a sword and board ranger one time in 5th edition, and everybody was looking at me weird, and I said, just watch. And I was like one of the most durable things ever. And it freaked out my GM. He's like, how did you make a ranger so tough? I said, just dex and con, my dude. Clerics are cool, though. Especially, they did a really good job, I think, in the new edition, separating out martial and non-martial clerics better. Because before it was very heavily built around domains in the 2014 rules. In the 2024 rules, they made that just an option that you pick. Out of the gate, regardless of the type of deity that you were adhering to. So I think that was really, really healthy for the game. I think certain clerics are going to obviously benefit more. Like, certain domains are going to benefit way more. Like, the war cleric's going to benefit way more from being a martial-oriented cleric, right? Getting the weapons and armor. But you can do it with any, which I like. First moment our campaign started, but then after a little while, then I kind of fell in love with it, because I somehow turned into the dad of the session in a goofy way. Yeah. Well, the reason is because you are the dad, right? You're the guy. You are the one that stands in front of everybody and says, fucking come at me, bro. Break your weapons upon me, for I do not care. And then if you're the berserker barbarian, you just cleave through everything like it's tissue paper. All right, times 15,000 plus 20 times. What is the average population of a village? About 4,000 is my baseline. Plus, villages are about anywhere from 100 to 1,000. So we'll say about 600 as a base, times 60. Final. About 206,000. Yeah, like, now, see, the thing is, I do want to say this, though, is that is something that is also independent of the class, which is something that's really important to remember, right? Because you can be that guy and be the fighter. Be that guy and be the paladin. You can be that guy and be the rogue. Oh, you can be that guy and be the sorcerer, right? That's one of those things that's kind of independent of the class. All right. Do. All right, Mitharin.
Roll initiative, kid.
Holy shoot! What the? Just got raided. By. How do you say that? Lumisaga? I am going to butcher this name and struggle to say it for like 3 freaking years. Oh, it's Sam and Reaper. You two are responsible for this. Okay. Oh, Luminous Nagasa. Okay, now that I have to see the capitalizations, it's a little bit easier. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for swinging by. Appreciate it. Or crashing this party, I guess? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, sure. Welcome, welcome. And of course, I get a freaking ad, right? And of course, an ad shows up right then. As a fellow DM, I support all other D&D action. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it nonetheless. Oh, it gave you this news? Okay, well, that's good. Well, either way, thank you very much for showing up. Appreciate it. Kind of made my morning a little bit. All right, well, since I got the ad going in general right now, excuse me, I'm going to get up and get myself coffee. Yeah, bye. Oh, yeah, jail. So this. Oh, man. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. We have the Bringers of Frost. And then we have so we have the Mitharan, the Bringers of Frost, we have the Solan people. We have Solus. I'll put Solus down instead of that. Are we back from ads now? We are back from ads. Excellent. At least ads over on Twitch. I don't think we get ads on YouTube because I don't have monetization permissions yet. But everybody should be back from ads. Thank you very much for the 10 player. Jeez. 10 player. My goodness. Yes. The 10 person, the 10 viewer raid My goodness. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your stay. The player campaign win. Yeah, no kidding. That will be a one-shot if I ever do that. Dear God, 10-player game. Oh, kill me now. Okay. And then we actually need one more faction now that I think about it. Let's keep this on the side here. I forgot to bring that back after I got rid of that. So we have the church, we have the Bringers of Frost, which are basically the druids. I'm ruined. I mean, Sam, to be fair, this instant does not solidify that. It was long since solidified. We have the druids. We have what is effectively the natives. We have the Mitharan Church. We need a fourth faction, actually, in this case. We need a fourth one. So, and I want it to be like some one guy that's like super ambitious and wants to try and take over. I have like the framework for who this guy is, but I don't know what to call him. It's been driving me nuts for like almost a week now because I don't have a name for it. Oh wait, did I just close the one I wanted? No, I have the one I want open. Okay, good. Let me see here. Oh, also Luminous Nasagi, we're gonna give you a little follow because I like you for rating me. Thank you very much. There. Give you a little follow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Name generator. Let's go with, do we have villain? We have super villain. We don't need a super villain name. Go with villain names. Let's go with villain, evil names, super villain names. Let's just try evil names. Let's see what they give me. No, that doesn't work. Titles. Let's go with titles. Let's see what kind of titles we get here. Master of Conviction, Pharaoh of Fear, Captain of Iron, Chief of Toxin, Professor of Food. That's a good one. Archpriest of the Sun, Sensei of Devotion, Pastor of Solitude. The Iron Cardinal. Yes. So this is okay. Yes. The Iron Cardinal. There we go. All right, and slap that in here. Because that's a faction, but it's a faction, but it's also a name. That works. Soulless People. The Iron Cardinal. And the Bringers of Frost. Okay. So we have some work to do here. The Church of Mitharan is pretty much already taken care of, so we don't need to worry about that. that whole thing, the Radiant Sovereign is something that I've long since made. There's no concerns there for the time being. We can close that one. Most of the stuff involving the church is there, dealt with. All right. So this is the starting town. Starting town. The adventure. What is it? Cold insurrection. Cold insurrection. I have no idea what that is. That is way too small for me to see. Burger. Oh. Okay. I couldn't read what it said. The font on the word is way too small. Yeah, burger. I see it now. Yeah. You can has cheeseburger, okay? If you want to go has cheeseburger, you can have one. All right, I won't stop you. Large enough to be noted on a map. Large enough to be noted on a map. In the Occult Surrection, it was a thing that happened on stream, and my friend whipped up an emote on the spot. Nice. I actually really need more emotes. There is one that I'm really, really glad that I made myself, and that is the chat is wrong emote. Which I don't think you even need to be subbed to have that one. I think I just have that one, like, just in general available on here. I do need more emotes, though. I'm very proud of that one, okay? That D20, I'm very proud of that D20. I made that one. I'm very proud of it. I'm not very good at art, but I can make stuff, but I can Photoshop stuff. I'm very proud of it. For no good reason. The chat is wrong one though is my personal favorite. That's the one I'm like actually proud of for like its concept. And it's literally just it's the most like janky thing ever. It's literally just a text bot, like a text dot with it. Yeah, there it is. It's literally like the jankiest thing ever. You could make it like I think I made it. I don't think I made it in MS Paint because it's transparent, but I could have absolutely made it in MS Paint. I feel like every streamer needs that emote. It's just like, no chat, you're wrong. Like just emote only and just get the mods to start spamming it. Just shut up, chat. Anyone that has like a shut up chat statement needs to have something like that. I have one similar, yeah. No? Okay. I don't have a mascot yet, so I don't really, or anything, so I can't really like do make emotes like that. What was I here for? I went to the region for something. No, I went to the adventure. This one is the leader one from the end, as well as the general goings on the other villages. Actually, to stop. Actually, no and stop. Fair enough. Tells me to find out the British Frost. This one is Solon. Okay. Under control of Solus or Mithari. No. Currently not under control of. Currently a free. Currently a free town. There we go. Free town of Solus. There we go. That's all I need for the time being. Okay. Mount Genesis. All right. This is the forever. How do you spell sought? There we go. Sought. I had it right in my head. Okay. Yeah. Sought after capital city of Sol. Oops. Of Solmethus. Yeah. Like, I had it right in my head. I just couldn't type it for some reason, which is pretty standard, actually. Forever thought after capital city of Solmethus. Has the largest population of about 34,000, 34? 43,000 people, which for a D&D city doesn't sound like a lot, but for a setting that, but for a country that had, or a region that only has about 206,000 people living in it, having nearly a quarter of the population lives there. This is a very big city. Currently under Mitharian rule. To be the place of Jinn for all peoples in the Do I not have like a fractured doors thing? No, I don't. Okay. I should. Nope. There we go. Do that real quick, and then fractured shores should go in extra planar. There we go. We can close that though. Okay, and let me think here. Do I need anything else from Mount Genesis right now? At least in terms of how it portrays to future games. I don't need any of the current information that the current running games have on this place. That's unnecessary. Nope, that's fine. I can leave this as is for the time being. Okay. Jesus. Locations. Mount Genesis is like the only major location that I have at this time. And then we also have Manglina. Or Mangaline. I think is how you say it. I've already forgotten how to say it. My dumb brain. Can't remember a damn thing. All right. Let's see here. Solus. Okay. Three people that worship the sun. Be the main force against Matharn, against the Matharan Church. Now is really just of cities, collection of settlements. A collection of settlements. I think Greek. Greek or Macedonia, technically. I'm trying to remember which one was more city-states. We'll go city-states. In terms of thinking. Now is really just a collection of city-states. They work together, but they're not really like a proper nation. They're very independent of each other. Greek was city-states? Yeah. Just trying to... Oh, excuse me. Athens and Sparta examples were separate. Yeah. I'm just trying to remember which one, like... I couldn't remember if Macedonia was also technically a bunch of city-states or not. And if it was in fact, more in line with what I was thinking. But by not... was more of an empire. Okay, so I am remembering it correctly then. It's been a long time since I looked up anything on that kind of time frame outside of Rome. Even though that's technically before Rome. Well, it's technically before Rome, but also not. It's weird. Oh man. Anyways, welcome. This color is not working for me here. Tisserel, I think is how you say that. And Hollypop. Hollypop? No, that's worse. And I was actually talking about the purple. Here, the green is fine. I'm... Hoy? Oh, Hoylapop. Okay, I think I understand now. And don't keep changing your... Don't keep changing on my account. I can pick up my phone and look, it's fine. It's just because I'm blind. My glasses are out of date. You don't gotta do nothing for me. It's fine. I'm the streamer. I'm the one that suffers. So what are we making? So we are working... So we're working on a couple of things here. So this is like this is just what I'm doing in general. But we are making... I'm doing some macro level world building for the regions that are going to have my future games. So... Excuse me. So right now, I have 2 currently long-running games. They're affecting the world. And I'm making a separate region, which I've already made before in the past, but I'm doing a little bit of extra work on it now to kind of establish things a little bit more broadly, so that when people ask me questions like, hey, what is this about, the Soulless people, or the Matharan church, or, or about whatever this plague was that was in the Grave Barrens, or whatever it is. What are these things? And I can give some very basic notes of like, yeah, you would know this, no matter what. And because I'm an idiot and have a memory that just all the information that is in my head just leaks out of my ears constantly and doesn't stay there, I write everything down. I'm creating a realm of the dead in my homebrew, a realm where souls go if they aren't claimed by a god or another entity. Nice. You do need an answer for that. It is rare. It is rare that happens in most D&D settings, but you need an answer for that. And sometimes you can get wild with that answer. And anytime that you can go a little off the deep end, get a little unhinged with it, it's always fun. Not very rare in my setting. Okay, fair enough. Typical D&D settings. And usually when I talk about anything D&D, I usually refer not to my own setting, unless I'm talking about it specifically. I usually go in reference to the Forgotten Realms, or Eberron. Well, maybe not Eberron, because Eberron is if you remove influence of the gods. So usually in terms of like Forgotten Realms, because that is like the default, or Faerun, because those are the 2 like main long-standing D&D sayings that everybody's kind of familiar with. Like they set the standard. So it's unusual for people to not be at least adherent to a deity in some small way, at least paying lip service. A lot of smaller races such as goblins worship gods that don't quite have the amount of power required to have their own realm and don't like souls personally. That's a good answer. That is a good answer. Okay, so soulless, more purposely the soulless people. The free people have worshipped the sun, using the main fighting force of the Matharan Church, now religious collection of city-states. Okay, I have 10 gods that are actually gods. They're not real characters and lower entities. Nice. It's a good-sized pantheon. I have more than I care to mention. Is a good way of putting it. I have a lot. I have a lot from many years of developing them. But we're just not gonna talk about how many there are. We're just gonna leave that. We're just gonna leave that there. Suggestion: military necromancers to defend the homeland. Militia has drastic measures for emergencies, but they buy corpses of their people. Unknown by the ruler. The church has a hard stance against this. I have a certification that brings back people with life with magic in my campaign. You have actual life insurance. That is amazing. That is actual life insurance. That is amazing. Only 10 can be considered true gods. There's a lot of powerful things, mostly elves and dragons. Fair enough. So Hoy, that is so that is actually something I do have. It is just not in the Soul Methus region. That is a thing that I have in what's it called? I believe it is Maledictra. Yeah, Maledictra, where there is actually a faction that utilizes the dead as their fighting force. is a specific faction, a specific people, actually, a specific city that is there. Funny enough, nobody else really likes them that much. I'm not sure why. Funny because it's called a death certificate. Yeah, that's pretty great. It's considered evil in my saying, but not frowned upon by anyone but the clerics of life and death. Let's just throw ideas and see what sticks. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not expecting you to know. It's just like, that's a cool idea. Good news. I've already used it. Because ideas are, because it's a good idea. It's a fun idea. Let's see here. Their soul signs a contract and poof they are living. Yeah, actual life insurance. Like, it's literally life insurance. It's because proper life insurance. That's amazing. Or soul insurance, I guess. Clerics of life worship a deity that doesn't like undead. The clerics of death domain worship a deity that consumes all souls after they die. Yeah. Like, I have a nature-based deity that is of life and death, for example. It's all about the cycle, and despises undead because it breaks that cycle. Okay. Do I need any other notes for Solus right now? I don't think I need any major notes for this. This is very much the main thing. Most of its notes are going to be based off of town to town to village to village. The Circle of Wild, something that has happened in multiple groups of druids want to reclaim the land of the wild. You're speaking my language right now, because that's kind of what the Bringers of Frost kind of are. There are two destructions and creation gods, respectively. Yeah. There's a couple of different ways to approach deism in a setting. I find you either need to put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart, and both actually work. You need to go with like the idea that the gods are part of existence and people worship the existence that they are a part of, or you have cultural necessities that have been pushed so hard and are so important on a fundamental level that they became deities. Right? There's two different ways to kind of do it. In most cases. There are exceptions to that. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but that's generally the two ways that deities come to be. Because deities, by definition, require worship. Or not necessarily worship, but what's the word? Piety. Require piety in some way. Forces of nature and our mechanics that hold the universe together, hence why they aren't really characters. Yeah. So that's a common way to run them. Why they are true gods. Yeah. Okay, I understand now. Okay. Let's, okay, so Solus we can kind of leave like this for the time being. The Bringers of Frost. Let's go here. Iron Citadel. Or Iron Cardinal, not Citadel. Basically, old church is powerful but corrupt. Now the red line was crossed in the other little So, funny enough, you weren't here when I was explaining. I don't think you were here when I was explaining this. So, Soul Methodist is very heavily based off of like 5th to 8th century Catholicism. So like it's based very, very heavily off of the Catholic Church in the medieval era, where the church is above the king, right? It's very powerful. It's very oppressive. And it explores that idea. That's kind of like where the inspiration comes from. So there's all kinds of like different people vying for power inside the church as well as outside of it. And that's why the church is kind of collapsing. So for a very long time, there was a war between the church and the common folk, right? So you kind of have like all the people that are resilient to it, as well as, and then you have the church, and they were butting heads for a while. The world got invaded by dragons, because dragons are extra planar in my setting, or the chromatic metallic dragons are. They stopped their war because there was a bigger problem, also known as their existence. They dealt with that. They had peace. Now they're at war again. Well, I shouldn't say that. Now the church is destroying heresy, is the best way of putting it. There isn't really a war. It's just the church is destroying heresy. And because they're destroying heresy, this by definition goes against what the soul and people want. Because the soulless people worship the sun, and anything that the sun shines its light upon is worthy of respect. So, in that regard, they're very much like, you can do whatever you want, just don't oppress other people, basically. It's very much like a Western idea. So it's kind of like the modern Western ideas clashing with the old Catholic, like the old oppressive Catholic ideas, is kind of like what this region is built off of. And then on top of that, you have two other factions, which is the Druids, like the people that want just to have like their own piece of nature. They're being called for the sakes of heresy. And then you have a third player, and then you have a fourth, technically a fourth, but you have a third party in this whole thing, and that is the Iron Cardinal, and he wants to just rule over everything. Like just iron fist rule everything. So it's not a fun place to be, regardless of who you are. Come here, you. Damn cat. Trying to knock over cups off the desk. That's water in it. Let's see here. Do the dragons have their own dimension, or is it just a dimension that they come from? Very specifically, the metallic chromatic dragons have their own dimension. They are from their own planet, and they have an eternal war. There are native dragons to the Fractured Shores, but those are the primordial dragons. So those are the dragons of the elements, the dragons of crystals, the dragons of metals that are not of the metallic dragon set. So, for example, there is the Lord of Blades, which is actually a steel dragon. But that is one example. In grim darkness of dragon history, there is only war. Yeah, the dragons are forever at war because they want each other's hordes, so that, for all intents and purposes, they can ascend. So that's why there's endless war for dragons. Alrighty, and Authoritarian. Can't spell. Oh, it's AU, dummy. An authoritarian that seeks to take all of Solmethus. By the way, and I say that's that he wants to because he can actually do it. There's actually a real shot that he could do it. Has many powerful locations and resources. Not recourses.
Is there an A in there? Jeez. Learn to spell. Has many powerful locations and resources. To cut the church out. Entirely. Does he care about the Bringers of Frost at all? Expert in negotiations. The reason my dragons are different is because magic works slightly different. It is in the air all the times, and the sentient races affinity depending on how long ago they appeared and how much magic goes concentrated at the time. Yeah, fair enough. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of like that. What do I use to make maps? It depends. So a good example is I made this map here. Oh, I'll drop this one's a little bigger here. So I made this map with the free version of Incarnate. So this is like, again, this is very basic, right? This is nothing particularly fancy, but it's meant to, you know, do large swaths of land, right? Give a big idea, give you a basic idea of what the areas are like. So it's like, oh, this area is obviously snowy. This area is obviously cursed. This is a wasteland. This is a big forest. You know, this is kind of everything in between. I use that. For dungeons or regular maps, for what website is that? Incarnate. Has kind of like a dragon eye over a compass for a symbol. That's for big regional maps. In my humble pie opinion, how do you spell that? Here you go. It might be spelled with a K, I don't remember. Stand by. Yeah, they spell it with a K. Excuse me. Correction. There you go. Incarnate. There you go. So that's what I use for regional maps, like large regional maps. Incarnate is actually pretty good if you use the paid version. They just did an update in like early December that added thousands of new assets. I don't have the paid version because, one, I don't have money to do that. Two, I'd rather just download assets and use them myself. So but this lets you do really, really good city scope maps, and you can do good localization maps as well. For city location maps, I'll use Incarnate sometimes, depending upon what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for something that's very like generic and kind of whatever, then I'll do that. If I want something more specific, I'll just go and I will actually use Dungeon Draft to make that instead. And I'll use Dungeon Draft now. I used to just use GIMP, but I found that GIMP is starting to like. The problem with GIMP is that because you add, it doesn't run layers particularly efficiently, or at least it hasn't been as of late. So because of that, I've started to use. I got Dungeon Draft a while ago, and I got a ton of app sets from Fantasy Adventures, which is a fantastic set of assets. So, or Forgotten Adventures. There we go. Forgotten Adventures. They have tons of amazing free assets that are great for Dungeon Draft, great for just doing your own thing. And then if you get you only have to do one time on their Patreon, and you can get their entire Dungeon Draft asset set, which you can just port in, cancel your subscription immediately after, not pay them again if you don't want to, if you're short on cash. If you want to support them, go for it. And then you have a massive set of assets that work amazing. My players want a map, but I'm kind of lazy. I'm gonna be real. You can do something in MS Paint. This is really, really good if you want to be relatively lazy. This, I want to say this took me maybe like an hour, not even, to make. Now, I'm generally pretty good at like taking my ideas and putting to paper pretty quickly when it comes to imagery, because I do think in pictures. So it's very easy for me to take a piece of art, an art-oriented program, and apply it to this. If you're looking for something for free, I'm a big proprietor of free stuff. Well, my Twitch just crashed. That's a shame. So I'm a big proprietor of doing stuff for free. So you can go to Forgotten Adventures, download their assets. You have to go through a bunch of different things and download them individually. Thank you very much for the follow, by the way. Oldie Sport. Or, yeah, Oldies Sport. Oldies Port. However you say it. Me and names, man. Forgotten Adventures and GIMP. Or Krita. Krita works too, if you have either of those. Both of those you can get for free. All that's for free. If you want to do something a little more, and then you can use Incarnate as well. It's an in-browser map making program. It also is free. There's a free version of it. If you're looking to do paid stuff, you can do Incarnate as a subscription. It works very, very well. I've seen people that have subscriptions make incredible maps. So especially, and that was before they did a major update where they added a ton more stuff. If you're looking for a one-time paid for something that's more on the micro level, like it doesn't do regional maps very well, it does individual dungeon maps really, really well. Dungeon Draft is amazing. It's great for city. It's great for city streets. It's great for camps. It's great for dungeons. It's great for all that stuff. Generally speaking, I subscribe to just do what the lazy GM recommends. If you're looking for a really good way to get as much out of your prep or as much stuff done with as little effort as possible, go check out the lazy GM. He is great for that. I will recommend people go listen to his advice for how he does prep and builds worlds and all that, more than my own, because mine's really, really busy. Yes, dear? Oh, yeah. Yep. All right, I'll be right back. I help my wife with my cat. It's this one, yeah? Make sure it's actually the right one. Nope. Yep, got it. There's what? Might be in. Okay. Alrighty, I have returned for the last little bit of the stream for the day. Let's see here. 8 minutes? That. 13. Alright. Put that there for a little bit. Expert negotiations. All Somethus. Occasions and resources looking to cut out the church entire. The church and everyone else. Cut out the church and everyone else entirely. Ass. What? There we go. Not sure why it was like that, but whatever. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. No big deal. It's my coffee. Okay. Iron Cardinal. We have a pretty good thing for the Iron Cardinal at this point. Bringer of Frost, or Bringers of Frost. So, it's not even really like just all the druids. It's like the big faction of druids, because there's lots of like small factions of druids that don't care or don't want to be associated. They just want to like continue to be. They technically fall under the soulless people to some extent as well. Okay. Let's see here. Faction of druids. To fend off the church. Thorn. As this other smaller druidic factions resisting them. What's that? The Ninja Turtles are collabing with MTG. Why am I not surprised? Of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah. Well, no, so Wizards of the Coast is basically just doing that. They're just trying IP collabs to try and keep their money flowing, because they can't seem to find a way to make, you know, a good product on its own anymore. Without trying to screw everybody over in the process. So now, for example, what they did with D&D Beyond is they basically made themselves a storefront. Instead of actually like everything has so now they're trying to get all TTRPG traffic to go to D&D Beyond, which D&D Beyond serves exclusively 5th edition stuff. So it's like even their competitors like Paizo, which does Pathfinder, they're making stuff for it and converting it to 5e, which I will say will be an inferior product because it's not what it was originally designed for. Which you're allowed, you can do that all you want. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying it's technically an inferior product by definition. All right. Has smaller druid factions resisting them. What's the word for this? They have not a prophecy, but a thing that is telling them that there's going to be a massive freeze over. Oracles. Well, that would be the individuals, but I'm thinking the thing itself, the thing that not an oracle, but the thing that an oracle sees, not visions themselves. There's a word for this. Prophes. Premonition. There we go. I need to have a name. I need to create their leader too. Has their leader has had a premonition. Probably nowhere near correct. Oh, premonition. Okay. I need to lower the music volume. It got a little bit loud. There we go. Had a premonition of the entirety of Solmethus freezing over. A vision. Yeah. A vision is something that's very specific. A premonition would be is a little bit more broad in its terminology, if my memory serves. Premonition, I believe, is a strong feeling that something is about to happen, especially something unpleasant. Yeah. This is more accurate. More accurate to what I'm trying to get at anyways. Generally passive. Not passive. Strategic. Strategic? No. Generally does not. Tactical. Tactical is correct, but I don't want to. But I'm not thinking of those are more like intentional. That would be tactical. Would be more like the iron. Would be like the Iron Cardinal. Generally does not strike at the church directly, but rather resists it. Passive. Passive is... I don't like the word passive, because the passive implies that it doesn't really do much. Caution. Yeah. These are more notes for me to get just as long as I have what I need for this. These are just like broad scale notes. I'm not developing these things like on a usable level per se. More of like, oh, here's what they are so that I can explain the idea to a player. So it's like someone's like, yeah, I want to be something like, you know, it's like, I want to be associated with the Bringers of Frost. It's like, okay, so this is what they kind of are about. Same thing with like, you know, if I want to be, if I want, they want to say, hey, I want to be from the capital. It's like, okay, here's what the capital is sort of like. Here's what the Iron Cardinals followers are kind of like. Like, it's not meant to be a big explanation. Um, uh, it's more like, rather than, hey, here's all the little things about it, it's like, here's a few broad things about it that give you an idea of what you're kind of looking at. I also need, thinking of it, there is one more thing, which is, I should actually change this to, to Matharan, not factions, what are they called? I had a name for this a while ago. It's the different subsets of it. Was it the pillars? No. That's it. I can use that for now. Because there's sub-factions of this. The 3 subsets. The church that act in its best interests. But his best interests in very separate ways. We have Hand of Matharan, Eye of Matharan, Matharin, yes. And what was the last one? And where did I have that written down? I had that written down in a different thing somewhere. Was it the body? Actually, I'll check, check Matharan here. Did I have it in here? Flame. Flame of Matharan. There we go. All right. Here we go. All right, faction names. Names? Houses. Yeah, faction houses. All right. The military of the church. Military of the church. As the martial aspect, acts as the martial aspect. Guards, soldiers, paladins. Guards, soldiers, paladins, and the like. Just as a basic idea, I'm authority. The effective inquisition of the church. Collectors of information. And seekers of heresy. Seekers of heresy. Spies. Informants. Oh. Idiot. Spies, informants. I don't want to say rogues, but it would be a good way of putting them. I'll snooze this last ad. Spies, informants. Yep. Inquisitors. The Flame of Authority. De facto religious. No. The religious. Oh, that'll be in quotations. The religious of the church. Concerns oh, fuck you. There we go. All right, concerns themselves with doctrine. With doctrine and words. With doctrine and followers. Oh my goodness. There we go. Jeez. Doctrine and teachings. Teachings is just part of doctrine, in my opinion, generally. But yeah, in teachings, yeah. Teachings and followers. Clerics. I guess you could technically call the clergy. The prime clergy. Clerics, priests. Oh my gosh. Clerics, priests, and there's another one in there that I can't think of off the top of my head. Devotees. All right, awesome. Got that done. And then I have this in here. Perfect. And then all this needs to get moved into here. Awesome. And that is going to be it for me today. It is 6:30. I got to get ready to go to work. Oh, boy. You know, the thing that nobody wants to actually do but has to do because I got bills to pay. Thank you very much for swinging by, everybody that did. Special shout out to a couple of people. The Tame Tavern and Oldest Sport or Oldies Port, one of the two. I can't remember how to actually pronounce it. Thank you very much for swinging by. Appreciate it. And then special shout out to Luminous Nagasa for the 10 viewer raid. My goodness, really appreciate that. And yeah, thanks everybody. I'm gonna call it here. We got a bunch of stuff done for the Region of Soul Methods. I think it's mostly done with one exception, which is a relationship that it has with specifically the Grave Barons, because that was the other region that I've done on a macro level. But I can ignore that for now. They don't really deal with each other too much. Soul Methods mostly deals with Kragguard and what's it called, the Dynasty, because they are the effective neighbors of it. So appreciate you all. Hope to see you again. Hopefully I'll be up and available tomorrow. I try to stream every day except for Saturday, maybe even Saturdays at some point. I try to stream most mornings, same time. And yeah, till next time, guys, have a good day.